The biggest mistake most players are making isn't copying well builds. It's believing they're actually copying them. Because they aren't. They're copying one piece of the puzzle and expecting the entire picture to appear. I used to do exactly the same thing. I do watch top players dominating in the fights. I do look at the heroes, copying the lineup, maybe even copying the formation. Then I do wonder why my results look nothing like theirs. At first, I blame the hero, then I blame the meta. Eventually, I realized I wasn't copying the account, I was copying a screenshot. And those are two completely different things. I think this starts with how we look at the builds. Someone posts a battle report, you immediately notice King Arthur, or Lubu, or a specific ring. Our brain naturally lock onto the most visible things. That's the reason the build worked, right? Maybe. But what if the hero wasn't the biggest reason at all? What if it was something surrounding that hero? Like max rings, mythical gems, higher castle, better technology, better buffs, more hero stats, perfect formation. Those things don't grab your attention, but they quietly multiply everything else. That's when I start asking a different question. Am I copying a build or just the easiest part to copy? And I'm going to share with you something that I did even in the season 1. Tried to copy a build of Mulan. Now, when I was in season 1, basically start playing Age of Empire Mobile, the first major fight I entered, there was one Mulan. And this Mulan killed like 4 or 5 legions. So I start looking at this legion. I was like, okay, I actually have Mulan. My Mulan is 3-star. Maybe it's about something the build I'm doing. So I open my Mulan. I start looking at the hero. I start looking at the enemy formation, the hero he's using, at which position they put these heroes, and start wondering, okay, we're going to do the same. And this is something that I do. I basically copied the whole build of this person with this Mulan that destroyed 5 legions, and one of these legions was actually my legion. I was also with Minamoto. I have like two legions when this thing actually happened. So I make this and I start looking for the same result in form of Mulan. I was knowing that this is a whale, okay? Most likely he's tier 7. Back in the days I was like tier 5 or tier 6. So I didn't actually expect to get the same results, but I was expecting at least to get him, like, I don't know, maybe 20% from his HP, maybe 30%. I jump at him and didn't know what happened. Nothing. Maybe I didn't even take like 5% from his HP. He basically one-shot me in like 5 seconds. Absolutely the same build. Visually, everything was absolutely the same. And at first I thought heroes carried, builds. The better the hero, the stronger the account. Simple. Then I start looking at reports from different players using the same hero. Some look incredible, others look average. That shouldn't happen if the hero is doing all the work. So I start looking deeper. Because if the hero is doing the whole work, the reports should look similar, right? Same hero, different ring quality, different castle, different technology, different investment. Suddenly the report made sense. The hero wasn't carrying the account was carrying the hero. That completely changed how I start evaluating every showcase video I watched. Then I noticed something else. Whales rarely upgrade one thing. They upgrade the system. When a whale gets a new hero, they're usually pairing that hero with better rings, better gems, higher stars, better formations, better buffs. Everything improves together. Most free to play players do the opposite. They copy one hero, leave everything else exactly the same. They're trying and they're expecting well level results. That's almost like putting erasing tears on a family car and wondering why it doesn't perform like Formula One car. The tires weren't the secret. They were just one part from the machine. And I'm going to explain you a build that looked completely overpowered until I started breaking down every investment that's supporting it. And first realization that I was actually having was about the rings. And I'm going to share with you one secret. Now you're going to see my Lubu is having a blue ring. And it's blue because it's fitting, the Lubu very nice. The second hero that I have is a Tiwo. He's having this ring, which is a legendary one. Now some people are going to question, but why is not Lubu with some legendary ring? Why is it Tiwa? And finally, we're having Zhao Yun with Epic ring. The reason I have like blue, a legendary, and epic is just because of the materials needed to level up each of these rings. So if I'm going to run like one legion, most likely I'm just going to try to get the highest level of each rarity of rings. But anyway, this is something that I noticed. I was thinking, oh, the hero should have legendary rings. I mean, this kind of things was entering in my mind. But later, again, with by looking the build of the other people, by trying to copy other people, but didn't look that much in deep. For example, the level of the ring, because yeah, the ring of dice is close to get fully level it up. I still need to level up this ring, so it's completely different. Tranquil water ring that is like level 10, compare it to something that is level I don't know, level 50. I mean, level 50, it's completely different thing. Even the percentage here that you're receiving, troop skill damage protection, troop defense, troop health from the first 18 seconds, blah blah blah, this percentage, every time you see a green percentage, that means this number is changing. But anyway, my point is, with the time, with looking over some completely overpowered builds and trying to copy them, I start breaking down every investment supporting it. It's not just the hero everyone is talking about. Everybody is talking about the Lubu. But what come with Lubu? What account is coming with Lubu? That made me rethink something else. Whether somebody asks, should I build this hero? I don't think that's the first question anymore. The first question should probably be, what does this hero need before actually becomes stronger? What I need to do for this hero to have good results with this hero. Some heroes need higher stars, some need premium rings, some need specific formations, some only shine when the entire account reach a certain level. Other supporting heroes like Attila right now is supporting my Lubu with double attack. Without those supporting pieces, you're not copying the same build. You're creating a completely different one. And then changing the hero for a result it was never designed to produce. The more I thought about it, the more I realized whales don't actually teach us builds. They teach us finished accounts. That's a huge difference, because when we watch their gameplay, everything is already completed. We see the final product. We don't see months of investments that made those reports possible. That's why so many copied builds disappoint players. They're copying the destination without copying the journey. Looking back, I don't think copying Wales builds is the real mistake. The real mistake is copying the answer without understanding the equation. Because once you understand why a build works, you often realize you don't need to copy it at all. You need to build the version that works for your account. And I honestly think that's where real account progression begins.